The last of the OCTAPACE values, E, stands for experimentation. This is a dimension which Uday Parikh added after a few years of working with OCTAPACE. E standing for experimentation. Experimentation is quite close to the earlier explained concept of proactivity and initiative. It is also close to, in some ways, I think it shares with confrontation. It also shares with everything. You can experiment in collaboration, you can experiment in proactivity, you can experiment in terms of resolving conflicts by confrontation and so on. Experimentation, the meaning of experimentation is encouraging a culture where people can try out, people can innovate, people can do things in different way than what they have been doing earlier. It does not mean experimenting with indisciplined way of doing things. Sometimes there is a thin line between doing things the way you are asked to do versus experimenting. Always experiments should be within boundaries. But some organizations define boundaries in such a strict way, there is no scope for experimenting. Everything is stated to a minute detail. This is something which needs to be examined. You must give some freedom for people, certain amount of autonomy to do things in their own way. But experimentation as a dimension stands on its own. Does the organization encourage people to try out new ideas? Openness. Openness is expression of new ideas. Experimentation is actually trying out new ideas. Can they implement alternative way of doing things? Proaction. Proaction is taking initiative and doing things. Experimenting is doing things by exploring alternatives and so on. So this is a family where a number of things go on. So octopus culture shares quite a few things in common. And experimentation may involve proactivity, experimentation may involve certain amount of openness, experimentation may also involve a little bit of confrontation and so on. But in all these experimentation stands out as a separate kind of a variable where the culture is assessed in terms of whether the people are encouraged to try out new ideas, to try out new way of doing things, to discover new things, to try new avenues, new products, new markets, new way of initiating, resolving conflicts, etc., etc. Experimentation is a very important value. Experimentation as a value get nurtured if again there is no fear of failure, there is certain amount of risk taking and so on. So it's a very important value closer to proaction and initiative, and at the same time stands out on its own as a separate value where people have freedom to experiment and try doing new things. Not everything is defined. So all the best from TVRLS for you to create at least a little bit of an experimentation culture where people value experimenting, trying out, discovering new things, creativity, ideational fluency, and things of that nature. All the best from TVRLS.